What's up, guys? This is Brent with 247parts.com, the best place online to buy your John Deere parts. Now let's jump right on into installing this bagging kit on the John Deere Z320R. Now this is going to be the kit for the 42-inch deck. It's part number BUC11342. And first, let's talk about the tools that we are going to need to do this installation. Starting out, we are going to need a 15mm socket and wrench. We're going to need the same setup with a 10mm and also with a 13mm. All of the corresponding wrenches to those sizes. And then also a number 5 metric Allen wrench. Now, if you're trying to follow along with your instruction manual, you'll probably notice that I'm going to do some of these things out of the order that they are shown in the manual. That's because this is how I like to do it. I feel like this is the easiest way. So first thing that we're going to do is we are going to start by removing our toe guard. Now the toe guard is what goes right here on the bottom, the outside of the deck. They send a new one in the kit here. So first thing we're going to do is change that out. There's going to be 3 little screws here, 2 on the outside here, and then 1 on the inside of your anti-scalping wheel. We're going to take those off, replace that toe guard with this one, and then we'll move on from there. For this, you're going to need your 10mm to take these off. All right, and then once we have the old one off, we're just gonna go back on with our new toe guard. It's going to go like this underneath, making sure to slide this little wing right here into the inside of the deck. So we're gonna go out through just like so. And then tighten those back up with that 10mm. Now, once you get the toe guard on, one thing you're going to notice is this piece that comes off of the toe guard. Now, you'll see a little black piece like this that is a actual closer arm here. This is going to be a holder for once we get our chute on. There's going to be a metal rod that comes across, and this is the holder. So what we're going to go ahead and do is while we're down here, we're going to take this piece with one of our round-headed bolts here, our carriage bolts. We're going to go ahead and get this started into this bracket. That way all we have to do is adjust it once we get that tube on. So take one of those round-headed carriage bolts, get that put through, and go ahead and start this onto that bracket. That way it's there and we don't forget about it later on. So next we're going to start here at the rear of the mower, getting it ready to be able to have the bagger mounted on the back. So we're going to start by putting in braces. Now you're going to see these 2 loops right here at the back of the machine. This is where one end of the brace goes, and then the other is going to go forward right in front of your tire on the frame there. There is a black humped piece that you'll notice your seat springs are on, and then they mount over here onto the side of the frame. So we are going to take that bolt loose there from the seat support and then put in our support brackets that are going to look like this. Now you'll notice here on these brackets, it's going to tell you whether they are left or right. So we are going to start here with our left one. We're going to use that bolt there to mount the front side of this bracket. And then at the back here, we're actually going to use these 2 studs right here. So they are going to mount down into the frame just like that, and then have a bolt here, or a nut here rather, on the bottom side. All right, so once again, bolt that we're looking at right here. So we are going to take that loose first. That is going to use that 10mm socket. Now these are going to be pretty tight at first whenever you're taking them off, and will be most of the way removing them because they are the self-tapping screws going down into the frame. Once we get that out, we're going to grab our support piece, and then the end that has the left markings on it is what's going to go down towards the hole there. And once we get that support sat in place like that, then we have 2 washers in the kit, and here is where we are going to use those washers. We are going to put that into place, and then we're going to start our screw back down into the hole, just like so. And then before we tighten down our bolt down there, we are going to get our pins here into place with these studs. So we're going to put that support on the bottom side, and then start our stud down through with the pin side facing up. And we're going to go on with that nut here on the bottom. And then this is where you will need an 18mm wrench for the top, and then your 15 ratchet here on the bottom. Then we can just start to tighten this up. And once we have this one tight, now we just need to make sure and go tighten up our bracket there at the bottom. And then also make sure you repeat this same step here with this bracing on the right hand side. Now we're ready to start working on getting the framing actually up that is going to hold our hopper system. So once we have these pins in place, if we do not have a rear hitch installed, there is one that's going to be in the kit, so make sure and get that installed. It's just simply 2 bolts to slap in there, and then you'll be able to grab the mast piece here. Now this is going to have a hooked end on the bottom, and that is going to hook into the rear hitch just like so, and then this is going to stand in place for holding up your bagger system. So next, once we have this piece up, then we're going to get this bracket piece here, and this is what's going to hold up the mast just like that. And then to hold that in place, we're going to have this bracket here. There are going to be 2 slots where these 2 little wings are going to go in just like that, and then we simply fold it down and into place like that. So this is how this is going to be installed. Now, to make sure everything is secure, we're going to need 2 of our little clip pins here, and we are going to put those through to make sure our top bracket piece does not come off. And then to secure the latch here, we're going to take one of our rounded head carriage bolts. That's going to go through the hole here on the bottom. And then we're going to put our nut on the back side of that. And then this is going to be where that 13 millimeter comes in handy again. We'll go ahead and break that out and tighten this up. Now, once we have this put together, now we are ready for our hopper system to mount on to the frame here. Now you're going to notice that on your hopper you have a slotted piece here, and that is what is going to go down on the mast just like so. Now once we have that into place, I'd go ahead and raise this hopper top up, because now we need to get in our other bracket here. Now how this is going to mount is we are going to have an open end here that is going to fit on the bottom of our handle lever, and then a funky curved end here on the other side that we're going to put through the hole that is right above where that latches to the frame. So we're going to put this through, wiggle this around, get it out, figure out which way we need to have that turned, just like so. Now the idea is that you want this to be tight. You want it to be a tight fit, getting that rod on to the bag holder here to make sure that it's holding that firm and in place. And then we're going to take our other spring pin here, push it in to hold that in. And then once we have that all in place and secured, we can grab our bags here, get them unfolded, slide those into the frame, just like that. Let off of our holder here, close that up, and now we can move to getting our weight bracket put on the front. All right, now next we need to get our weight bracket installed here. You'll notice in your kit that you will have this bracket along with 2 of these suitcase weights to help to counterbalance whenever that bagger is going to get full. So we are going to take off our foot platform here. We'll have our weight bracket, and you'll notice right here on the front of our cross member there are 2 holes, and yes, this is where our weight bracket is going to mount. So very easy to get to that right there. Now also in your hardware kit, you're going to have 2 long bolts, and this is going to be the bolts for this weight bracket. So go ahead and get those started down and in, just like so. And then we're gonna get our 2 nuts, go on the bottom side, get those put on. And once again here, this will be our 13. So we'll go ahead and get that wrench out here and that ratchet and get these tightened up. Now we wanna make sure that these are good and snug, being as that this is where our weights are going to ride. All right, once we have those good and snug on the frame, this weight bracket is pretty nifty here because we are going to pull out, this is spring loaded, and then push that back, and then we'll go ahead and set our weights onto the machine. One right here, and then one here. And then we can simply pull out again on that lever, pin that into place, and then now that is going to hold those weights into place while they're riding. All right, and then last but not least is our tube assembly. So first we're gonna start with this one that goes back up and into the hopper. We're just gonna simply slide this in, make sure to kind of get it up and out of the way. Now, the difficult part sometimes on this is working with the lower chute that's going to go here on the deck. Now, why I say this is the difficult part is because this is just a lot different than if you're used to a tractor style mower. You're gonna have this apparatus here that is going to have to go around the end of your chute to be able to mount this to the mower. So what we've got to do is we've got to figure out the way that our chute goes, which is going to be just like this. And we're gonna have this apparatus that we're gonna feed the top of that tube through just like that. And then we'll see here whenever we get to the top side that we have a few holes in the tube, also a few holes in this apparatus here. And so we need to get it bolted together. What's gonna come into play here is we have 3 of these carriage head bolts with that Allen head on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on the inside of the tube and we're going to push these through the holes in the plastic, get them lined up with the holes here on the holder, and then start to put on our nuts. And this is going to make it a whole lot easier to install this tube onto the mower deck. So there are going to be 3 of these, and they may seem like they really don't line up, but once you get these screwed down, they will start to make a lot more sense and make a better connection. And to tighten these up is where we're going to need that 5mm Allen wrench and then a 13mm socket and ratchet. All right, now next we're working on getting the lower chute connected here to the bottom of our deck. So for one, we've got this tube here where we're going to attach this rod on to. We're going to raise this up, get that set into place, and that will be our starting point. Now, next what we need to do is get our metal chute raised up here on the deck and then start to work the tube underneath the metal chute. This is where sometimes an extra set of hands would be nice, but you can do it on your own. So we're gonna get that raised, sat into place like so. And then we just have 2 more steps to go. First one being getting the upper tube connected here. We have a notch on our upper tube that lines up with this bolt here. We need to get those put in place. And do a little bit of working, a bit of pushing here. You can see we've got a long slot there for this tube to go up in. So we need to make sure that that is making good connection. Get that tube down and in, and then we can secure it with the bungee strap here. So from there, we only have 1 more piece to go. Remember this little guy here that I was talking about? We need to get it fully tightened up and get it underneath this bar here. Now, what we're looking for is to get this into position where we don't have this gap right here, and looks like everything here is sealed up good. You just want to feel around, make sure that your plastic is seating good to your deck, and everything is good and in place here. So what we're going to do is get this just in place, hold this as tight as we can to make sure that it is going to help hold the lower chute on, and then just start to tighten it up. All right, and just like that, once you have this in place, holding that still, everything is connected. You can now step back and take a look at your new bagger. And just like that, you've got the fully installed BUC 11342 material collection system onto your new John Deere Z3 mower. So pretty easy to do, guys. Only a few tools needed right there. You saw me do it live and in person. So I hope this video helped you. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, we just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe. Also, guys, if you need this bagger kit here for your mower, make sure to go check us out at 247parts.com, where you can get all of your other John Deere parts needs as well. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to go buy your parts right here and subscribe right here.